Hi everybody, it's Wednesday, and this week I want to talk about the Bechdel test in film and cinema. Now for those who don't know, the Bechdel test was created by Alison Bechdel, who is a graphic novelist and also a cartoonist, and basically the 3 steps to passing the Bechdel test include 1. Having 2 named female characters that have a conversation together and don't talk about a man. Not hard, right? Doesn't seem like it should be anyway. The Bechdel test can be really useful because it can show the kind of imbalance in representation that we have in Hollywood and films, and it can also bring to light the sexism that is currently prevalent in Hollywood and filmmaking. However, I also argue that it's not necessarily 100% valid. My reasons for this include the fact that saying that 2 women cannot have a conversation about a man in a movie kind of perpetuates the idea that women talking about men and talking about love automatically makes a movie anti-feminist, and I don't necessarily believe that. Another reason I think that the Bechdel test doesn't always work is because we have plenty of movies that only have 1 woman or maybe more women that never have a conversation with each other about anything, let alone a man, and once again, I'm automatically supposed to just write it off as anti-feminist. Examples of this include this year's Big Hero 6. The only 3 female characters within the whole movie are secondary characters, and while that's a problem in itself, I don't necessarily think that it makes Big Hero 6 automatically an anti-feminist movie. As well, Go-Go Tamago and Honey Lemon are 2 of the most important of the female characters, and I don't necessarily see them not having a conversation with each other at all as a problem. Honey Lemon is a very feminine, very high heels dressed kind of girl, but she's also a brilliant chemist, and she's very enthusiastic about science, and she teaches little girls, and women for that fact, that it's okay to be like that it's okay to be very feminine, and it's okay to also be very interested in math and science, and things that are seen in society as man things, I guess. We have Go-Go Tamago, and Go-Go Tamago is very edgy and very curvy in her designs, and athletic, and very smart as well, in a different way. And I see her as being a feminist herself, because she doesn't really take bull from anyone, and she teaches little girls that it's okay to be edgy. And also, we have these 2 really great, compelling female characters, and because they don't have a conversation with each other at all, the whole movie lacks. And while, okay, I agree, yes, they should have a conversation, it would be nice to see it, I don't necessarily think that Big Hero 6 fails a test only because of that. Now, outside of the animation world, we also have movies that automatically fail the Bechdel test, but I still think are feminist movies. One of them being Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The reason for this is that Clementine and Mary are the only 2 female characters we get to the 4 male characters, and while Clementine and Mary never actually meet, or at least we don't see them meeting, however, I see Clementine as being a feminist herself. She's very independent, very aware of herself. She takes it into her own hands, first to talk to Joel, second to pretty much go out with Joel, and third to remove him from her life when she does not think that him being there is doing her any good. Overall, do I think that we should have more movies with more women having more conversations about things outside of men? Yes, absolutely. Women talk about things outside of men. That is completely accurate and completely necessary. But do I think that either of these movies really suffer because they don't pass the Bechdel test? No, I think that other elements of them are what is really keeping them from being absolutely perfect. And I think that limiting a movie by its level of feministness based on conversations really doesn't do any justice to the film industry. So once again, I think that the Bechdel test can be useful. I don't necessarily think that we need to completely rely on it to find the feminist ideals and characters in movies. You can comment or tweet me, and I will see you next Wednesday.